What's up everyone? Sleeping with Simon Talk, and today we are with Jaiwolf. We are in the beautiful city of Denver, and he just finished his Red Rocks? First,
just
not
played,
first.
First time headlining, third time playing, yeah.
And he is the first Bangladesh person to sell out the Red Rocks tour, so amazing all around. How do you feel? Are you relieved?
Yeah, very relieved. It was a lot of work. We've been waiting 3 years to play this show. We were booked way back in 2019, and here we are in 2022 in Denver, and yeah,
finally made it.
Yeah, feeling great.
So today we'll be asking fan questions. Got quite a bit of questions, so let me pull it up really quick.
Sweet.
Okay, first one, straight into it. How was touring with Porter?
Touring with Porter was so much fun. It's just a dream come true. Like, you know, I really look up to Porter. He's been an idol of mine for like 10 years, and he's just such a nice guy, and his team made us feel very welcomed. And you know, the cool thing about his tour was that what I like that is super rare is that he allowed the openers to run their production, their visuals and lights and everything. And so me and James Ivy got to like run our visuals, and that you don't see that a lot traditionally. When you open for someone, the openers like don't run their visuals or anything like that. They just get like a logo or something. And Porter stressed that he wanted his tour to feel like a festival or something, where you're saying like 3 acts do like their headline show, you know.
That's awesome.
And that definitely made me change the way I want to approach my headline shows. Like even at Red Rocks last night, we allowed the openers to like run their visuals and have full access to the screens, and I do think that's really important. I think that also like encourages a lot of like young artists to be just excited to get to play their show and not be like restricted in any way. So overall, a very, very positive experience.
Wow. What's your favorite song that you've produced?
So I have 3. Yeah.
You're ready for this question?
Because people have asked me this before. Starlight, Lose My Mind, and Moonrider. I would say those 3 I'm the most proud of, and I think reflect like who I am as a person musically the most.
Oh wow. Do you consider yourself an introvert or extrovert?
Yeah, definitely an introvert, but like an extroverted introvert, I guess. That's why. Oh, I was here the other day. I just realized I got Starbucks from here.
How did your culture shape your relationship with music?
So yeah, I mean, you know, being from Bangladesh is a very like arts-centric culture, and so there's a lot of music in my family growing up. Bangladesh is an arts-heavy culture, and so growing up, there was a lot of like music surrounding my family. My mom could play harmonium and guitar.
Oh wow.
And we would play a lot of like Bengali classical music, Indian classical music. And then my parents took me to violin lessons, so I've been classically trained since I was 5. And you know, it's like typical like Asian American experience, like learning an instrument growing up, and like they would play piano or something.
Wow. So you came from like a musical family, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. Actually, I have musical like relatives and everything.
Wow.
And I have like an uncle who's like a very accomplished tabla player and like a music teacher in Bangladesh.
Oh.
So yeah, very musical family for sure.
Wow. What's the biggest lesson you learned in the music industry?
There's definitely a lot of lessons, but I think one that I've been thinking about a lot recently is patience, because especially because of this Red Rock show, because we were booked for it in 2019 and because of COVID, we had to patiently wait for this date. And you know, we had a 21 date actually, but because it was so early in the year, we just didn't think it would be safe to go up with it because of the unsure nature of the vaccines, and you know, getting ready for something like that, like you have to make that decision almost 8 months in advance. So we decided to push to 22, and it was hard because at the end of 21 we saw a lot of people doing Red Rock shows, and you know, it was like in my head I'm like, man, like if COVID never happened, this would have been my like 3rd headline or something. So it's funny when you see your friends playing Red Rocks and all that, it's like oh, like, you know, I wish I could do that, but it's actually really hard to get a date. You know, it's such a popular venue, so many big rock bands and legacy acts and pop stars are playing Red Rocks, so they give you a date, they give you a Wednesday, they're like, it's this or nothing.
Oh wow.
So
the show was yesterday on a Wednesday, and it was sold out.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, San Holo was there. Like it was such a great show.
Yeah.
But yeah, patience I would say is like a big excuse me. Sorry.
Okay.
No, you're okay. And yeah, I think that's a big lesson, especially if you're an up and coming artist. Like things don't happen overnight. It takes time, and it's good to be patient.
Will you ever bring the orb back?
I know a lot of diehard fans want to know about this. I would love to in the future. There's no plans right now. It's sitting in a warehouse collecting dust.
Oh no!
I love that production, and we own it. We built it and we own it actually. And I'd love to bring it back. It's just it takes a lot of effort, and it's quite a feat to like make it run properly. And I don't think it's reached its full potential. But I hope one day we can make it work and bring it back to life.
What is it like being Asian or Bangladesh in the music industry?
It's funny, I talked to a lot of people about this, and I think that in the electronic world, because there's less of an emphasis on like what you look like, I do think it is one of the few genres where you actually see a decent amount of Asian people like represented, and they have, decent careers and stuff. I mean, you have Dabin and Jana and Girafage and Hotel Garuda, Hex Cougar, like I would say more so than any other space. I mean, obviously like the people who are a part of like 88 Rising are doing well, of course.
Yes.
But I think that what's cool about electronic music is that like sometimes a fan will be like, oh, I don't even know what Flume looks like. I don't even know what Odesza looks like. So I think that someone...
Zoo also?
Yeah, Zoo, yeah. It's worked that way. So I think that kind of like gives us somewhat of an advantage, because when a listener is listening to our music, it's sometimes devoid of like any racial like components. Oh, there's a dog. and so even like I have people even like recently being like, oh, I didn't realize you were Bangladeshi, and I think that's kind of cool. Like that means that they're listening to the music just for the music, and not no other reason. And I do think that if you're in any other genres, if you're like a singer or a rapper, looks do play quite a factor in like who's listening to you and who's supporting you, and like it is much harder for a Asian like singer or rapper to like break in compared to like a white person. But I think it's a little different in the electronic world. It's just different like qualifiers that allow you to move ahead.
That's very interesting. What you're saying is like so accurate, but I didn't even think about that. But especially as like a singer and rapper, you have to have like a presence and like a whole look.
And people aren't just used to that, because we've been like stereotyped to death basically in society. So, but things are changing. I think it's changing, and we're seeing a lot of more Asian like pop stars and MCs like coming out to the scene, and K-pop, becoming more popular and accepted in America.
Have your parents always been supportive from the beginning?
Yes, more so than like your typical like Asian parent. I think that what was nice is that they were cautious. They were like, hey, if you want to do music, you can do music, and then just see if it works out. So they're like, try this for a year. If it doesn't work out, like, hope you have a backup or something. This is like after college.
What was your major in college?
It was like marketing and communications. Like
vague, as you could do anything with it.
You really can do anything with it. Yeah.
What was one of your most embarrassing moments?
I have too many to count, I think. Embarrassing moments. I think I fell once at a brownies and lemonade. I think I'll just use that. So I was going back to back with the seam, and then we like went to the front of the decks, and then I think I slipped and fell.
Oh.
So I don't know why. It's not the most embarrassing, but it's the first one that comes to mind. So shout out to brownies and lemonade.
Who currently inspires you most in the music industry?
That's a good question. Let's see. I mean, I love Fred again. I love everything he's doing. I love The Weeknd. I think the way he kind of like has distinct eras and looks and his music video concepts, like his taste. It's just like really well developed taste. Yeah, I think those are the first two that come into mind. In the electronic world, like obviously like Porter, Madion, Odesza for sure. Top three probably.
When are you gonna play at your home country?
Yeah, so a lot of people ask about this. Really just, it's a little tough. There needs to be sort of like an infrastructure there that can enable us to like come there and play a show. And then there's the whole like, is it gonna be a DJ set? Is it gonna be the live show? Like there's that factor. I'm so down to do it when the time's right. It's not something that can just happen overnight. There needs to be like a promotion plan. Like there's a lot that goes into stuff like that. That said, I hope in the future, I hope we can make it work. It's just something that we would need to like thoroughly plan out and get it right. We just can't like hop on a plane and like play a club like that.
Let's go.
Yeah, you can't really do that.
That's true. I never thought about that, but now that
Yeah.
you said it, I'm like, that makes so much sense why you can't just play anywhere and anything.
I'm thinking about this Red Rock show. It's like 3 years in the making, and then about 6 months of promotion to sell it out.
You got here Saturday for a Wednesday show, right?
For a Wednesday show because of rehearsals. So like, there's so much that goes into planning and prepping stuff.
Do you prefer the new TCTL setup or the orb setup?
That's a really good question. Damn, these are really good questions.
Yeah.
So that's a really hard one. I think that the show, like the music and the visuals, are better in this new version, for sure, hands down. But the orb is obviously very unique and fun. So I think the right answer is I would like to run the current version of the show in the orb, you know? I think that would be really sick. It's just that the orb is just very expensive. It's very expensive and like takes a lot of effort and took a lot out of me in 2019. So right now we're kind of running with this minimalist aesthetic that I really like, and I really like the big screen. That's the other thing about the orb, is that you're limited to 19 feet. You can't bring like anything higher than that. And at Red Rocks we had like, I don't know, I'm gonna pull numbers out of my ass, but that was either like a 30-foot wall or like a 50-foot wall. So if you had the orb at Red Rocks, it would look really small. So
That makes sense.
something to think about.
Do you still get anxious about after all these years of performing live?
Yes and no. Like, I think for the big ones, I think something for like EDC or Red Rocks, of course, I'm gonna feel some nerves, and I think it's healthy to feel nerves, especially if it's something that is unknown. But I think that's a good sign. I think feeling nervous means that you're kind of on the right path and you're doing the right thing. You don't want to be too comfortable. That said, sometimes we can play a festival and I know it's gonna go well. Like, we played Louisville a few weeks ago and it was like, boom, I know it's gonna go great, and it went great, you know?
How has your relationship with Foreign Family and Odesza affected your music?
I would say the one thing I take away from that camp is just how cohesive they are with how they run things, from their branding to their teamwork and their camaraderie. I think they're just very inspiring in all those three facets. And I just try to apply a lot of their personal, like, artistic ethics in what I do. So if they have like hyper specific branding and very tight visuals and really good merch, like, I know sometimes those are general broad brushstrokes, but I still like look at that and I'm like, oh, I would like to apply those broad brushstrokes on the way we run things. And just at the end of the day, they're just good people. So I love seeing them every time we're in Seattle and hanging out with them, and they're family.
What is your go-to comfort food?
Ramen okay.
From Slurpee.
Well, yeah, if you asked me this in 2018, it'd be ramen. But I think for the past year, I've become like a wings person.
Ooh.
So I eat wings like once a week.
Oh, wow.
It's like my cheat meal, basically.
How did you meet San Holo?
I actually met San Holo on a plane.
What? What's the story behind that?
Well, we were playing Snow Globe a few years ago. I mean, we talked online. We talked like through Twitter or Instagram or something, because like, we knew about each other's music. But first time I met him, we were playing Snow Globe, and the people on the plane was me, San, Alice in Wonderland, and Snake Hips. We were all on the same flight from LA to Tahoe, which is kind of funny. So we met on a plane, and this is when like that All of the Lights edit that Nitty Gritty made was every DJ was playing. So I think I played it in my set, and we had like back-to-back sets at Snow. We didn't play back-to-back. It was like him and then me. And yeah, we met, we hung out. It was fun.
What TV shows are you currently watching?
Well, so since I had a very busy month between EDC and Red Rocks, I was trying to watch things where I could like really like numb my brain. So I was watching Nathan For You for the first time, and that show was so funny. And then I burned through something recently that was really good. What was it? I think it was The Dropout, the Elizabeth Holmes like story on Hulu. That was a good show.
Damn. What's the one thing most people don't know about you?
I took up boxing like a year or two ago, so I think that's something I haven't really like publicly talked about, but that's kind of like a personal hobby of mine. So shout out to Rumble.
What is your go-to song?
I don't know if I have a go-to song, to be honest. It's weird. I think being an artist or a musician, like everyone has a different relationship with music. Sometimes I go through phases where I just don't listen to music because it's like my work. But then sometimes I'm like very obsessive with like what I'm listening to. I'll like put a song on repeat. Do I have a go-to song right now? I don't think so. To be honest, I'm kind of in one of those phases where I need to like not listen to music for a little bit, but I know I'll get back into it.
What's your top 3 movies so far this year?
Well, I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once. That one's like...
That was so good.
I mean, that's my top 3 of like all time, probably. I really like Daniels. They're really good directors. They did Swiss Army Man, which is a great movie. And actually, fun fact, they were on my list to do Lose My Mind. And this was before Everything Everywhere All at Once came out, or even before... I was after Swiss Army Man came out, but in 2018 they were on my short list for like people who I wanted to direct the Lose My Mind music video, because I was looking for a very like trippy kind of concept in space, right? And I've seen their music videos. They did Foster the People, Houdini. They did DJ Snake, Turn Down for What, and they're just really good directors. So I'm flexing right now. I'm basically saying I'm an OG fan of them. I knew them way before Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Wow. Piece of advice you give to your younger self?
This has come up a lot with my friends. Just don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. You're an idiot. No, just like I don't know. Young me got caught up really fast into like the music world and like going on tour and everything. And so I think that I wish I had more focus. I think that's what it is. But no one's like born with that. It's something you have to like develop. I do wish I had a better work ethic and better focus. I think that maybe put me behind a little bit when I was like not putting my head down and grinding shit out. But also like, not to the point of burnout. You want to have like a happy medium. I think I was just unfocused for a few years, and I didn't really know where Jaiwolf was going or anything like that. So I wish I kind of like had a better work ethic and better focus. But I'm glad that I finally got to the point where I wanted to right now. So.
Yeah. Will you ever do a tour in Asia? I would love to see you in Japan.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, I mean, we did EDC Japan in 2018 and had the best time there. I love Tokyo. I heard it just reopened. I'd love to visit. And yeah, I mean, we did Manila and Bangkok and Singapore one year, and I'd love to go back. The fans and listeners and everyone there was so supportive and fun. Like, I'd love to bring the live show there. We did in Indonesia, Jakarta one year, and Kuala Lumpur. Like that, those shows were super fun in 2019.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd love to come back to any of those countries.
Do you listen to any podcasts?
I'm not a big podcast person. I need like a visual component. So if I do something like that, I watch YouTube. Yeah.
We know that science fiction is one of your favorite genres of film and storytelling. Do you have any current favorites right now?
Not right now, but everyone's been telling me to watch Severance on Apple TV, so I'm gonna watch that soon. I think that's like, I don't know if it's sci-fi, but it's like, seems adjacent. Yeah.
What is your favorite childhood memory?
Favorite childhood memory, I want to dig deep. I think just the general innocence of just like not knowing what lies in the future, and like, having fun and not overthinking and not like being so critical about yourself or anything like that. I think the purity of childhood is that general feeling is a good memory. I can't pull a specific memory right now, but yeah, I think a lot of art comes from like the child's self. Yeah, I mean, I think Kanye is someone who like embodies that really well.
How do you usually deal with stress?
I try working out. I try like going for a walk, or I try to like. I think I used to handle it really bad a few years ago. I used to like eat a lot, and I would like overeat. I think that was like, if you could call it an addiction. But now like I think working out is like a really good way to relieve stress. Boxing, as I mentioned earlier, probably arguably for me the best stress reliever.
What did you do to stand out from other artists in the beginning?
I don't know. I don't know if I did anything to stand out from other artists at the beginning. I think right now, though, I would say with this live show that we have right now, something I've been thinking about is like, when I was making the blueprints for this new like TCTL version for 2021 and 2022, I really looked at who else had a live show, what were they doing, what are their strengths, what are my strengths, because I think it's like instinctive to try to emulate the people you look up to. So, I see someone playing drums, I want to play drums. In 2019, we had drum pads. But, I'm not much of an instrumentalist. Like, yeah, I play violin, but I think I can like I think I'm a good arranger. I can compose and all that stuff. I could write melodies, but I wouldn't say like I'm a great live performer when it comes to like piano or guitar or anything like that. So when we were building the show, I was like, you know, I really like the MPC. I like pressing buttons. I like doing the vocal chops and synths and stuff. So I designed the show to feel like something that, you know, you go see any other artist, like you're getting something different from when you come to our show. And I think that should be the goal of every artist. I think when you go see someone like Odesza, they have something very unique with their drum line. When you go see Porter, when you go see Marion, when you go see Rufus with the band, like everyone has something very like distinct. I mean, even San Holo has a very distinct show with the way he like runs his guitar and everything. And so I wanted to do something that was distinct from all of that. You know, I wasn't trying to emulate anybody. I was trying to like play to my own personal strengths. And I would like to think that the current iteration of the show feels unique. I think the look is unique. I think when you see like the table set up and like what I'm doing, I would like to think that that specific element feels unique to what I'm trying to express as like an electronic live artist at the end of the day.
Would you ever incorporate violin into your shows?
A lot of people ask this. I've thought about it. It would have to be the right moment. And actually, if someone asked me this a few years ago, I actually probably would have answered like, "Oh yeah, maybe at Red Rocks." But I think
it just happened yesterday.
I think the thing about the violin though is that it is an instrument that is hard to play in a live space because if you're like slightly out of tune, it's just going to sound not good because it's amplified so loudly. Like with the piano, the worst you can do is maybe hit the wrong note.
Yeah.
But the thing about the violin is you could hit a note that's in between two notes because it's strings. And I think that dissonance sometimes is very unappealing in a large Red Rock space. And I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not throwing any flame, but I've seen strings at Red Rocks rarely sounds good, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, that's just my personal opinion. Like, I'm not trying to stop anyone from having strings at Red Rocks. I think, and as a concept, that's really cool.
But maybe a different venue in the future.
Maybe a different venue. I'm not opposed. I'm not anti. It would just have to be for the right moment, and it would have to be done tastefully, and in my personal opinion.
Huh. Cool. Well, thank you for hopping on today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. We'll see you next time. Bye.